Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Multi-Passionate Mompreneur. This is definitely the podcast if you are working from home, running a business, and trying to be all the things that you definitely want to make sure you hit that subscribe button, that you take a second to leave a review if I add value, and to find us over on Facebook. Multi-Passionate Mompreneur is our group. It's all things community support, leaving the chaos behind, and honestly, you need people, guys. We need people to get through the hard stuff. So let's join over there and kind of walk through this whole thing together. So there's a lot of feelings of getting things in balance, and sometimes that has to do with managing our children. Yes, we talk about managing our time. We talk about managing projects and workflows and all those things. But how about we take a second to kind of look at how we are parenting our children when it comes to yelling and that sort of thing. So I've been thinking that I am having Medusa Mama come out a bit too much. So what is that, you say? So what that is when I am asking them to do something, they don't do it. So I remind them again in a calm voice, and they don't do it. So then Medusa Mama comes out, snakes from my head, raging, yelling. I don't know. If you've ever had Medusa Mama come out, shoot me a message over on Instagram, angel.mcilhaney. Check out the show notes for my crazy last name, and let me know, because I think that this is something no one wants to talk about, but I think everyone at some point has had this happen. So if this has happened to you, definitely let's connect over there. All right, so today I'm going to give you the 5 R's of positive parenting. So this was actually something that I found from Parenting Solutions online. I've actually messaged her to try to have her on the show. Hopefully at some point she will. All right, so here we go. The 5 R's of positive parenting. This is so that you don't yell anymore or less, or hopefully that you at least kind of gain some strategy behind the whole process, right? All right, so R number 1, respectful. And I will say that basically when I was going through college, my degree is in early childhood, pre-K to 3rd. My favorite approach to classroom management was the responsive approach. The reason I like this is the kids made the rules with you, but the guidelines, basically every rule they could come up with is essentially respecting themselves, respecting others, and respecting the environment. Go ahead, try it. Try to think of a rule, and one of it will come back to those 3 core rules. And so that is something that I've always really loved. So the consequence that you make for your children whenever they go off track needs to be respectful. So this is where you want to, she calls it taking away the blame, the shame, or the pain. And so you're not trying to be one-upping them. You're not trying to have that control, which I'm an 8, guys. I like control. So that's something I'm definitely working on. So your kids need to make sure that they don't like the consequence. They don't need to like that, but they need to have it fair. And so for this to be fair, the next R we have is related. So I want you to think about relating your consequence for a behavior to something logical. So a logical consequence, for instance, Ty's supposed to switch over the clothes, and I fold them each night on my bed, okay? By the end of the night, I have this giant mound of clothes, and I fold them, and I put them to bed, probably as I'm listening to a podcast and that sort of thing. It works. I know it's not ideal. I would like to probably have a peaceful nighttime routine, but that's how we've been doing it. So if he doesn't do this by a certain time, a related or logical consequence would be that he has to fold them, which I think is a win for both of us, honestly. But I want you to think about that. Number 3, reasonable in duration. And so this would be something that is obviously reasonable. So if your kids don't think you're being fair or reasonable, then it's gonna kind of take away the effectiveness of a consequence, and it's gonna make it seem like you are just this authoritarian, that life's not fair, and they might even act out more. So definitely make sure that you take that into consideration. And number 4, consequence must be revealed in advance. And this is something that I struggle with, because I will lash out and give the consequence, which usually honestly is taking away electronics. So it's not always related, which or logical. So definitely thinking about what your expectations are before is going to be huge. Setting out those guidelines, setting out the rules, and this will happen. And then the last one is repeat. So you make the rule in advance, and then they need to repeat it back to you, and they need to know the consequence. And it's almost like a verbal agreement that they are saying, like, I get it, I understand. And I think part of it is also having this conversation, because chances are they know that if it's something fair, that like, okay, Ty, I need to do the clothes and have them on my bed by this time, or guess what? I'm like going to bed, like I'm sleeping, or I'm in my nighttime routine. So that's not cool that, you've interrupted that. So something to think about. And definitely the repeating back kind of gets it into their brain, I think, and it kind of cements that. I feel like our kids are looking for this autonomy, either through attention and power, and she explains this for sure. Check out her on Instagram if you need more on this. But I want you to think about the different behaviors that are happening in your house, especially with everything going on. They might be feeling, that they want more attention, or they're not feeling like they're getting to have like the social interaction or the experiences that they normally would. Maybe their sports are kind of not being done and they're not having that outlet. Maybe you are trying to work from home, so you're not having as much attention to them that you normally would. And then also maybe they are just wanting the way that you are going about kind of enforcing your rules is kind of causing a power struggle. Kids have this need for autonomy, so if you give them a little bit of control over the things that they can have control over, then I think that we'll be much better as work from home moms. So as someone who has decided that I'm going to be homeschooling, I'm going to be having a lot more structure. So if you like episodes like this or some tidbits on parenting and how to manage your children as well as your house and all the things, then definitely shoot me a DM. Let me know, or you can shoot me an email, info@angelmcilhaney.com. All right, guys. Well, I hope this added value. If it did, hop over and leave me a review. And until next time, just want to remind you, you are capable, you are strong, and you can do the hard stuff. Thank you, and see you next week.